What's going on, Badger Nation? There's a lag.
Yes, we got it. Count it. So many cool things going on. Number one, I'm super excited to have Noemi back on the show. Noemi, super talented person in the Amazon growth marketing space. You've launched an agency since the last time you've been on the show. I'm so excited to talk to you about that. And extra special, if someone Googles your name, as they should, do a little investigation into our guest co-hosts every episode, your Spotify will pop up and they may hear this song that we're playing right now. So thank you so much for providing the introduction music to this episode. Great to have you back.
My absolute pleasure, and it's an absolute pleasure to be back on the show. I was like, yay, let's do this. So, and as also, if you're watching this, you can see I am a fan. So this was the length that I done to prove that I'm a fan. I am wearing an Amazon PPC tool at Badger t-shirt, which I received after being on the show. So thank you for having me for the first time.
We do our best to thank people for having to deal with me for about 90 minutes or so, because I always make our guests spend a lot of extra time with me preparing post-show. So thank you so much for doing that.
My absolute pleasure. I think that your guests are just like thrilled to have done this with you, so it's fine. So no worries.
Hey, awesome. And look at this beautiful art that you have going on behind you as well. What a visually stunning piece of art. Wow.
Yes, that's made by my husband. And I was like chatting with you right before hitting recording. He just had this like at an exhibition, it's an AI generated design. And I said like, you know what, I want to represent you as well. So it's just a perfect background, I think, for each of our episodes. So let's do it.
Funny enough, my wife is an artist too, which I think is funny that we're in the Amazon space. I'm not as much as a musician as you are, but I try to be a musician. And then our better halves are making art as well. Really cool. So Noemi, since the last time we've talked, you launched an agency. I want to spend a little bit of time on that because I think there's so many people that have been sellers themselves. And I think it's a phenomenal way to like start an agency from like, hey, I was doing these things to help myself, and now I can turn around and help others. I think when you start an agency from the perspective of like, I want to just be helpful because I get a lot of satisfaction out of that. I think that's great. And I'm only assuming that we haven't started the interview. I'm just answering questions for you. Tell me a little bit about, where that inception point came from to start ScaleWave. And congrats, by the way.
Thank you. So being a very cat mom, I'm going to point out that you are as much as an artist as I am, only that your stuff is not put out there on the platform. There you go. Getting back to the ScaleWave stuff. So exactly as you were describing, and honestly, I also didn't want to have an agency or so on. It just came upon the realization that I learned so much during during having a very competitive product, and because there was no answer, like you have to do it. That's it, there's like no looking back, you have to do it. I had that approach, and during that process, I learned a lot. And soon I realized once that, as I was saying, Carlos, at some point, he was like looking through our PPC and he was like, oh, like 70% of people who are like agency owners are not doing the stuff that you're doing. I realized like, okay, is this for real, And I think that was the moment when I realized, hey, whatever I learned during a super hard time for me personally and professionally as well, because like this was our like full-time business, I didn't took out salary, I didn't took out anything. It was like, I want to learn, I'm going to make this work, I think that helped me tremendously to see, first off, as you were saying, there are other sellers also there who are fighting through the same issues as we did, and that could help me relate tremendously to other people and to explain to them, okay, look, you have maybe a 2,000, 3,000 budget. Why would this work? Or why it's not possible, And I think that approach helped me also because whatever we are doing with Wizards of Ecom, it's sellers helping sellers, you know. The same passion came through here as well. I think here it's just like through ScaleWave, what I mean. Through ScaleWave, I will also have an opportunity to measure all the investment I do in a monetary way. So yeah, that would be
that's awesome.
Long answer.
Well, that's great. So congratulations and lots of good luck over at ScaleWave. Awesome to hear an update next time you come on the show for sure. Today we had a fun topic. I think this topic will help a lot of Amazon marketers better think about their own skills and hopefully inspires a few to take an inventory of maybe some non-PPC skills that they can tap into to improve their PPC systems that they have and their PPC strategy. So today we have a really fun topic, which is what non-PPC skills do we think have made us better at PPC? This is such a cool topic. And I would say like asking this question to your peers and people that you're masterminding or workshopping with, like, hey, what business owner skills have made you a better business owner? Like what things are you doing outside of being a business owner have made you better at being a business owner? So in our case, what non-PPC skills have made you better at PPC? I know I'm repeating the question back. Thanks. But the first one that came to my mind was going to the gym. So here in Austin, I go to a CrossFit style boot camp style gym most of the time. And then I run on the weekends around downtown here in Austin. If anyone also runs downtown in Austin, it's possible that you have ran by me on the weekends. But the thing that I think like physical fitness and like working out gives me on a day-to-day basis is planning. I think what's really neat about it is like when you are thinking about, how much weight should I use for this exercise or what kind of run am I going to do today? Like taking that time to think about like your goals of your fitness and like what you're trying to do and then build up, how often am I going to go to a CrossFit style gym per week? How many runs am I going to do per week? What are those runs going to look like? How many times a week am I going to go play volleyball as well? I do that here in Austin too. So that planning, paying attention to your goals, physical fitness, I think builds like discipline to like get the annoying things done, like doing that, like it builds like mental strength so that you can like look at a list and like not be intimidated by a big spreadsheet or not be, even though I'd never, want to go to the gym, like you still get it done. So being able to know that you should be doing something and then getting it done, that sort of connection is huge. I talk to a lot of people that are like, yeah, I know I should be doing more bid optimization, or I know I should be doing that. And it's like, I think what's cool about physical fitness is like, you should be doing it. And then like, all you have to do is just do it. And if you're able to like work that mental muscle of like actually going and doing it, I think that transcends so well into PPC because like you have this list of things you should be doing. And then if you're just able to shut off that part of your brain that's just like, I know I should be doing it, but I don't want to, so I'm not going to. If you can shift that into like, I know I should be doing this and I'm going to do it, I feel like your PPC account will really benefit for it. So yeah, going to the gym. That's my first one.
Yeah, definitely.
How about you?
And by the way, yeah, even if like on my list going to the gym, it's not one of the things that I think it helps tremendously. I can relate to that because as you were saying, okay, like planning and so on, for me personally, it's not only planning, but it helps me serotonin or what kind of like chemicals are going to be produced once that you're like, I'm not sure, but it's a dopamine. There you go. So you are going to have that and it's going to just like pump you up. Like for example, also before starting recording and before like getting on the call with you, I also just worked out and then I went to the shower and just like took a very quick shower, and that just like, one, it makes you feel good about yourself. Two, it makes you feel prettier and you are also in a better shape. So your standards about how do you see yourself also going to grow. So there you go, my short or long parenthesis there. So what is my first one? What is my first one is I said having a schedule for every aspect of my life. I'm a very creative person, and as you are, Michael, as well, for sure you know that being creative also means that you're all over the place. You have this squirrel brain, and it's like you know, so you're all over the place. And what I noticed, without having a clear structure, without planning ahead, without having a clear schedule of today I'm going to have this recording with Michael, tomorrow I'm going to help a client, tomorrow I'm going to do this, it's just going to give you just enough limitation and just enough structure to be free. So
there's a quote that I like. It's like, you get freedom through discipline. So it's like, if you are undisciplined with your schedule and you're just, you're not really aware of like when you're doing a particular thing, it's like things will build up and then you'll get trapped. It's like, whoa, like now I like need to do this. Whereas if you were planned it out, you get a lot more freedom because like you've planned when you're going to do it, how to do it, which is a lot helpful.
Yeah, exactly.
A lot more helpful than not having a schedule. I think the same thing happens with PPC, right? Like if you know when you're going to be doing it, you'll get it done.
Exactly. And what you're going to do. This is like why I was giving this as an example, like why now what I'm doing is I'm very structured. Like even before the presentation, I just came up with a few ideas only because I wanted to make sure that we're getting things done. The same that like you last time, you just brought up a few ideas. Okay, at least we have a structure now. Is this good? Is this bad? Like, so it's going to help you tremendously. Same with your PPC. And also why it's so cool is even if it's not a PPC skill, it's going to take out all the thinking process. So you're going to follow an SOP. This. I'm downloading this report. I'm going to do like bid optimization and so on. So that's
Yes, gotta have a schedule. My second thing, actually my second, third, and fourth thing all relate to like the overall theme of being a teacher in a former, believe it or not, there were hundreds of people every year that refer to me as Mr. Fasheen, which is wild. It's been over 10 years since I've been a teacher. And I think being a teacher, not being from the traditional corporate world first, I came from like the education world first. And I think teachers are some of the hardest working people on the planet. And what I think is, the first skill that I really cultivated that makes me better at doing PPC is, I think the first one being communication. I think great PPCers need to be great communicators. In fact, I would say, what's better? Someone who's like 10 out of 10 skill and like 1 out of 10 on communication, or someone who's 8 out of 10 on skill and 10 out of 10 on communication. I would bet that if you tracked both of these campaigns over the course of 6 months, the one that was a better communicator, you should see a better yield, better result from, because they are looking at the campaigns, they are talking with peers, they're talking with others, they're getting new ideas, they're like doing those kinds of, they're talking to their client, they're talking to their coworkers, and the conversations that will come from that will yield so many more things than if someone was unable to communicate about what's going on with the PPC account. So I think like the skills that I was able to work on through activities like talking to students about something that they might not be interested about, or it might be a dry topic, or that I need to make interesting, or even talking to people that might want to be somewhere else. I get hired sometimes to be a third-party audit to like a company that has an agency, and they're like, hey, I just want to give my agency, it's not bad. They're not, sometimes they're mad at their agency and they're like, we need somebody else to just verify what they're doing. But a lot of times it's more collaborative, like, hey, can we just get another person to assist the freelancer managing my account, give them some new ideas to push it forward? Or even like an in-house person. It's like, hey, we have somebody managing our account here at the company, but like, I'd love to give them some professional development, and I'll work one-on-one with them. Sometimes at first, that person might be a little hesitant, or they might be, a little cautious, like what's going on? Like, why is this person here? So like being able to like navigate situations like that, to like learn what the history of the accounts are, and like try to get all that, extract that good information and deliver things in a way that isn't going to put them on their heels and like get them to lean in a little bit. Those kinds of things have been huge. So communication skills, I think if you're doing your PPC in isolation and you're not talking to other people about it, you are missing out big time. Like one thing we do here at Ad Badger with our PPC managers is like, we'll have meetings and we'll be sharing like wins, challenges. What do you think about this system? How do we improve this system? And like those conversations are where I think your technical skill grows and like your understanding of PPC grows. Because if you're not able to talk about it, I think you'll be stunted. So for sure, communication.
I totally agree with that, Mr. Fashin. Now I'm going to call you Mr. Fashin.
Oh man, I used to send kids to the principal's office, get in trouble. Yeah.
That's on you. Now you cannot do that. So it's fine.
That's right.
No, but like getting serious now, right? I like what you said and I totally agree with that. Like being a teacher, I think I'm coming actually from other side and I'm going to come with something that I have a straight at, which is I'm a learner. I took the strength Gallup Finder, and if you're familiar with it,
Strengths Finder,
yes,
yeah.
And something really cool about it for me personally, what it helped me understand myself, which are my strengths and which are my weaknesses, right? And being a learner is one of them. So I will just stay and I will just study and learn and find out all the new information that's out there without even realizing that other people are not even aware of. Giving you a simple example, at some point Amazon was playing around with having 6 placements, sponsored product placements for a week, 2 weeks, something like that. And most people didn't even realize that that's a thing, you know? Yes, it depended on category and it also depended on search volume keywords, you know? But yet again, I just noticed it and I just sent it over to Carlos and asked, hey, have you seen this? And he was like, no, you know? And he's someone who's really like in the trenches and he's doing all the stuff and he's like a high-level PPC manager and it's offering PPC management services, you know? So I think being a learner personally helped me to not look to competition rather than figure out stuff and see what's new out there and how can I take it to whatever I'm doing, like PPC-wise, okay, how to plan for it. And why I just wanted to add this, because learning, I think you also have this a strength. Being a teacher, you're teaching and learning at the same time, right? You cannot be a teacher if you're not constantly learning. You cannot update someone else on the things that you're learning. So I think also I am on the similar side as well. I'm not yet teaching, but being very interested in whatever it's new and wanting to continuously learn, I think also improves you as a PPCer. Doesn't really matter of what kind of skills you have at fact or what kind of strength you have, you know, it's still going to help you and you just should get introspective and see which are the things that you're already good at to help you with whatever you're doing. For sure.
You know, I don't know how anyone gets into doing PPC unless they've learned to do it in the first place. Yep. So being able to learn, to understand what it is and continuously learn, absolutely huge. The third thing for me relates back to being a teacher. And this was kind of your first point, which was just planning, systematization, like understanding that, you know, what is the system that I'm going to be using to get blank task done, like being organized, like having good Google Drive organization for all of the bulk files that you download and being sure that they're labeled properly and put away properly, having good filters for all of your clients, like having good task management, having good schedule management, you know, having everything at once in my Google Calendar, my work, my other work email, my personal email, like calendars all aligned, like actually using them. For sure. So we've talked about planning, coordination in your first point, so I won't get into it too much. And this kind of jumps into your third one, not so much planning the day, but you have down planning ahead and risk management. That's a really interesting one. Where do you do risk management outside of Amazon advertising?
I love to take topics that have nothing to do with a specific skill. For example, for PPC, you're the only podcast that I'm listening to that is PPC, right? Anything else that I'm listening to has to do with mindset, has to do with coaching. Risk management, it's something that I learned from Nassim Taleb. Which one is the book? It's
Black Swan.
There you go. Yeah. And not the Black Swan, but Fooled by Randomness.
Anti-Fragile was the book.
It's Fooled by Randomness. Wait, because he has like a lot of them, and he talks about this specific song. But in this one, the Fooled by Randomness, it's a really interesting concept. It says that most people will think that they are lucky only because they didn't plan ahead and they got lucky, and that's going to make them believe that they know how to do stuff. So the second and the third time when they are going to get lucky, it's going to make them feel that, hey, they are really in charge. And the fourth or fifth time, they're going to get, or the fourth time, let's say, they're going to get unlucky, but because they thought so much that everything they know, they're going to risk too much, therefore they are going to lose everything what they built up, And here, as risk management, I think also it has to do with PPC. Most of the time, I see people, they are just, okay, this keyword worked for me and like 100% return, and I'm going to bet, I don't know, 100% placement, let's go for it, and then it's going to screw up your ACOS, it's going to screw up everything, and you're going to be placed into a different placement, and then that's going to actually hurt you rather than help, So yes. I think that approach is going to help you tremendously think, hey, it's fine, but still I shouldn't invest more now within quotes, because here you're also investing in PPC, right? More than you can afford, because you can die only once, but if you die, then that's it, So kind of that's my approach.
Naomi, I love that topic. I think it's so valuable, and it's so pertinent in our space too, because someone will do something in an account and like it will go well, and then sometimes that'll get shared on like social media. And what I think is so fascinating is like you could do that exact same thing 10 times in 10 different accounts potentially, and like get like 10 different end results. However, when we're an individual just doing it ourselves, we only see what's in front of us. And I think it's so fascinating. That's sort of like survivorship bias.
Correct. Yeah.
I'm like so fascinated with it in like the Amazon PPC world, also in like the overall like success world and like entrepreneurship world and like business world, where there's so much like survivorship bias. It's like where a person often doesn't even know why they are successful. And a lot of times they'll like attribute it to like, oh, I woke up at 4 a.m. and like grinded hard before anyone else woke up. And it's like, maybe that's what contributed to your success or whatever. Or I meet a lot of people that like started some random company, and like you could just tell like they think they are King Midas, and like everything they touch it turns to gold. And it's like, what degree of like randomness or like luck or whatever actually contributed to it, where they were at the right place at the right time. I think it's so fascinating. So I like love this topic. I think it really like plagues society as a whole, as well as the Amazon marketing space, where it's like, why did that work? How did it work? Could it work again? Like, what were the fundamentals that caused it to work somewhere else? I think this whole topic is like so fascinating to think about. And so if you're not aware of this, I think with all these like skills, it's always like, well, what happens if you don't have it? I think if you don't have this skill, it's like you're going to be doing things one time and get a certain result. Maybe it's good. You do it again and now it's bad. And you might not know why both times. And so I think that's so fascinating. So like really understanding, like, I know I'm like explaining yours, and I'll stop.
I appreciate you. Like, no, I love it. Like also my husband, I'm the one that like, it gives a sentence in two, like it gives you an answer in two words or 3 words, and he's the one that's like going to explain it. Yeah, I love that. So it's a synergy, right? Okay, but betting.
Some people call it mansplaining.
I have no problem with that, so go on. But something that I would love to add there, and you just brought up a really good topic, maybe for next episode, what we could do is coming up with all the biases, because I think there are so many biases that people are not aware of, and they are assuming that that's the way to go. So that could be also a good topic for next time. And this is how I just plug myself for a next episode. See, it was very, very smooth. I'm a cat mom. I can do this one.
You've said that twice now. You said you're a cat mom? What does that mean?
I think the difference between cat people and dog people is you really have to work hard for someone's affection, a cat's affection, and it's a harder way how to get someone's affection, but if you do, then you get loyalty throughout your life, you know. And I think here what it has to do with being a bit not obvious, but getting your point through and like getting what you want.
I got you.
That's it.
I got you. The last thing for me relating back to a teacher, this is an interesting skill that I picked up, but it's almost like being an attorney preparing to go to court, where you're going to have to present something. And what I think is the skill that I picked up when I was a teacher, and this was a while ago, and I've heard it got even tougher, but if you want to fail a student, so like the student, you know, was late to class every single day, they like never studied, never did their homework, and they ended up failing for the year, and they're going to have to retake the class. That's like a big deal. I'm not just talking about like failing a test or failing just one semester, but like for the year where they're going to have to redo it. Like this is like a pretty significant deal because like you've potentially just changed the course of their entire high school. And, you know, imagine if they're failing like 4 classes, they're going to have to retake that and like go to summer school and like things like that. So it's a pretty big deal. So when you do this, you need to present like what happened to the guidance counselor, present it to their parents, present it to them, help them understand what was happening. And what's cool about it is like, you need to be on top of your stuff in order to do it. You need to be able to like, if you're going to be a good teacher, you need to do like early warning signs, like, hey, you're on track to potentially fail for the year. Look at this, and the other thing. Relates back to PPC. If like you're running a campaign and it's not working well, it's like raise the alarm bell before a client does. That makes you a great PPC manager. Get in front of it instead of being proactive instead of reactive. So like the more proactivity you can take in a PPC campaign, the better when things are, you know, not going in the direction you are. Understanding what the biggest reasons are because of the situation relates back to what we just said. Like it's a skill to be like identifying the things that are causing the student to fail or identifying the things that are causing a campaign to go bad is a skill. So like, that's where a lot of these skills come in. Like you need the discipline to like do the digging. You need to like have time dedicated for it to do the digging, to figure it out. You need the analysis skills to figure it out. And then you need like a really strong gut to be able to say like, there might be like 10 different things going on, but like, this is the biggest one to focus on. That's a huge PPC skill. Being able to identify why things aren't going the way that they are. And then if you've done all of those things, when it comes time to do the weekly report or the monthly summary, it's like presenting all of that in one concise, cohesive story with a game plan to improve. I think that takes that's like a tremendously high level PPC skill of like evaluate early warning signal, evaluate what's going on, identifying why things are the way that they are, coming up with a game plan to fix it, and then, you know, following through. That's I think a PPC skill that packs a punch.
Definitely. And you know what? Actually, that goes really well with mine was here like relationship. I wrote like leveling to people and ask them questions instead of selling them on things. Yeah, but now that what you are saying, I think the way that you approach things, first off, it's going to show that you're professional, so you know what you know. You know what to do, right? But second thing, I think what's going to show, it's not only that, but it depends from people to people, right? Maybe I'm the type of client, okay, it doesn't matter, just show me the numbers and so on. But there are also the type of people or personalities who, hey, you care for me. This is why you went ahead and above and beyond that, as you were saying, you noticed this that I wouldn't have noticed, you know, and it wasn't your job necessarily to notice that, you know. So I think that those are actually the things that are going to build up even stronger relationship with your clients, because you're going to get only once someone's trust and you're going to lose it only once, you know. So here, like the skills that you mentioned are tremendous. Also, like not only client to client or agent to client, agency to client base, but on a relationship level as well, you know. So I love that. And for me, to actually wrap up with the fifth one, or do you have some? Oh, you have also the music. Okay, so never mind. This is mine. Please go on.
Yeah, the last one, which actually put us on to this topic as like the topic we were excited to talk about today, was we both have a love of playing music. And for me, one of my favorite things to do when I pick up the guitar every day, I try to get 20 minutes of practice in every day. And one of the things that I love doing is working on technical exercises, which most people probably roll their eyes at. But like I have friends that like love to play the blues. It's like, yeah, you know, I just want to feel the music. For me, I'm picking up my guitar and I'm working on like some obscure technical exercise or some like heavily technical song where I'm like working on it for a year at a time. Currently, I'm working on Rondo a la Turca or Turkish March.
Oh yeah.
If you've ever, you know, for those that don't know, could you hum
Should
a
I
little
sing
of
it?
it?
Should I sing it? Tararam, tararam, tararam. There you go.
Yes, that thing. So it's so fast and it's so difficult on the guitar that I just have so much fun with it. So like working on technical skills, I have found have made me like really good at like and comfortable at the guitar. So I feel like how this translates to PPC, it's like you cannot be afraid of spreadsheets and be good at PPC straight up. You know, I've said on the show before, like, hey, if you don't want to go too hard on bulk files, you're probably going to be fine. Sure. Yeah, that's true. Like there's other things that you can do. You can do things manually if you have a simple account, but like to be a great PPC person and to like really master your campaigns, like you got to get comfortable with spreadsheets because there's some things that like a bulk file is going to be best at. No software is going to, you know, be able to match it for certain things. That I think is like so valuable. So that's made, so like if you can go to the nitty gritty technical part of Amazon PPC, I think the rest is going to be really comfortable for you. Like I never practice like simple songs, like, you know, campfire style songs, like, you know, just singing and strumming. Those are like very, very easy and comfortable for me. So things like thinking about campaign structure, like I feel like I can juggle campaign structure like while riding a unicycle because I can build any campaign structure in a spreadsheet. So like I'm able to do that technical thing and I'm able to like think about and like visualize and conceptualize and communicate these things relatively simple because I ain't afraid of no spreadsheet. So like technical skills unlocks doors for sure.
Yeah, definitely. And I love that you put like technical skills unlock doors. Definitely, I agree with that. And I'm coming now from a mindset that, so I'm a music producer and music producers or producers generally, they're very like this float and free spirit and so on, you know, and I was like that, right? I was like that. And for me, like spreadsheets were the most intimidating things ever for me when I started and opened up my first campaign to see what's going on there. And I am like on the biggest like PPC show. So why not just tell publicly that for the first year, I haven't even gone through bulk sheets, bulk files, and so on. You know, only because of that, exactly what you were saying. I was very much, I can like just go through the accounts. Bear in mind that I had 300 campaigns, you know, and it took me 5 to 6 hours to go through them, and I didn't even done the job right, you know. So
I'm so sorry.
Why laughing?
Well, it's good, you know, like you were intimidated by them for so long. And I think it's good for people to know, like, hey, it's normal to start that way and you can persevere.
Yeah,
you can
but
break through.
I think the point that I wanted to make with that, it's also, I've seen like in my professional life, I was avoiding technical, you know, I was this free spirit. However, the realization is that you have to be both. It doesn't matter. You have to be technical and creative at the same time. If you're not able to get across, like for example, this podcast, if we're not able to getting across all our ideas, so our listeners are going to, hey, that makes sense, you know, I'm going to execute on that, then it doesn't matter how good we are at or our PPC skills, you know, because at the end we have to make them aware of the facts, you know, and these are also technical skills, basically teaching them that, look, this is what happened to me and this is how it should be. Make sense? And that was a bit of tangent.
For sure.
But here, like for mine, which is the last one, it's trying to apply systems instead of goals. So, and I said trying because I'm still trying to do that. It's harder than you would think. We are raised in a mindset of you need to have goals, you have to achieve that, and that's going to be a goal, right? What I noticed is sometimes it can be wishful thinking, which yet again, we have to just say it or call it as what it is. Applying systems versus goals. Here, specific for PPC, for example, as I was saying, you have a clear SOP of what are the things that need to be done, or what are the things that all the time will need to be done. So having a clear system in place is going to think out, first off, the error, 2, the extra thinking process, 3, it's going to free up time, right? And you already are way more valuable, or you're bringing a valuable point to someone else rather than someone who's not doing that, who's like just goal oriented, right? So I think here the systems and really applying systems, not only to PPC, but generally like everything in life, it's going to free you up to do the things that you actually love doing, you know?
Yeah, you got to reverse engineer. Like, what am I going to do in order to get there, for sure?
Exactly.
So Naomi, we've done it. If you've made it to this point, 40 minutes into the show, to hear Naomi and I share a bit about our personal lives and some of the skills that we've curated over time and how they make us good, talented PPC managers, I thank you. Naomi, can we play out with your music again for the outro?
Why not?
Awesome. This is great. Thank you so much for coming back on the show. It is always so fun. Will you come back again in the future?
Yes, I will. Definitely.
Yes. And you've mentioned Carlos a few times here. So we already know that we can find you at ScaleWave. Where else can people find you, just in case they don't know?
Yeah, definitely. So whoever is going to look up ScaleWave, just like a full disclosure there, the .com domain was not available. So it's scalewave.io. Remember that when you're going to check us out.
Yes.
The second thing, Carlos and I started he started the podcast and I joined as co-host last year. And so far we managed to have almost 200 episodes. Carlos is an awesome guy, super humble human being, Amazon seller. He also offers services. No one or very little people know about that. What we did instead is he especially built up the community, Wizards of Ecom community. We also have a school here in South Florida, and that's what we do. Sellers are helping sellers. I know it might seem as a weird or strange or like dumb motto, but this is what we're all about, It's hard. It's hard as a seller, to get things done, and especially it's very lonely. So we are here for you, sellers, helping sellers, Wizards of Ecom. We also have a Telegram chat, which you can join. That's amazongroupchat.com. And there are I think it's the most activest Telegram chat of all, because people are just answering questions and asking questions, and it's fun. So yeah, that's the easiest way.
Awesome. I have to ask too, bonus question, what made you guys pick Telegram? I know that there's many, I do some dabbling in the crypto space, and Telegram's big over there. So is Discord. Yep. Why did you guys land on Telegram?
They started on WhatsApp, and WhatsApp at some point, so we have around 1,200 active users at this point, and WhatsApp didn't support that. So this is why transitioning to Telegram, and that also enables you to filter out more people and to be aware, whenever someone is joining, you have to, yet again, risk management. You assume the best, in the same time, you cannot not assume the worst, and the Telegram for that, it worked well. That's why.
That's great. But yes, highly recommend Wizards of Ecom. You guys are great. Naomi, thank you again. Have a good one. And Badger Nation, I'll see you next week here in the Badger Den.